Meaghan Rath and Aaron Abrams star in the hilarious Roku Channel series about parenthood. Children Ruin Everything. Season 3 is out now. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Rudy.
So the thing that I love the best about the show is that James and Astrid, they win together, they struggle together, but essentially they are a team and the team of parents. Talk a little bit about that concept and making it part of the series.
We love that part. I mean, that's the part that I think gravitated us to the script so much, is that this is very different than any other sort of family sitcom from before, where the husband is an idiot and the wife is maybe a shrew, has to take care of everybody. They work very much as a team. They very much love each other. It's them versus the kids together. We talk about how they sound like they're emotionally intelligent. It feels like they've gone to therapy, so they're a little bit elevated and a little bit modern in that way, and it makes the entire show feel very fresh, I think.
Meaghan, do people come up to you all the time and say, like, it feels like a camera is in my home, or these are the situations I'm going through with my spouse, my body, my budget, my kids?
Yeah, that's exactly what everyone says. It's like very shocking how that is the line that everybody.
Yeah, it feels like you have a camera following us, hearing how people say they have a camera.
So that's the biggest thing that people say, and it's really nice to hear because what makes a good show is when you kind of focus on the details, which I hope that we do.
As far as the episodes, I mean, especially I'm assuming that the biggest watchers of the show are actual parents, is that all the shows are about 20 minutes long, which is about the most time that a parent can get away to enjoy a TV show. So that's like the perfect time.
Yeah, I mean, shockingly, it's not just parents. I think what's amazing about the show, its appeal like reaches people who are not parents because they relate to Astrid and James, and the how believable they are as a couple and their dynamic together. And also, I think they take a lot of joy in watching us suffer with our children. And then also, weirdly, kids like it as
Yeah.
well.
I guess maybe the kids have a lot of power maybe on the show.
Yeah,
They see
yeah.
themselves represented. I think maybe that's it. I mean, I think a lot of television shows with kids, the kids speak either hilariously eloquently, like they're little 40-year-olds, or they're like just punchline machines. They're not really kids. And we've got two amazing actors in Logan and Michaela, and we just let them be themselves and be little weirdos. And it's a representation of how kids actually are, I think, that maybe kids connect with.
That was my next question about Logan and Michaela, because they play your two oldest kids. But as far as some of the situations when you're going through the read through, are they like, why is this bothering my parents? Or do they understand? Or are they just like loving that the situations that they find themselves in, like in real life, like have this effect on their parents?
I mean, it's hard to know. I know that their own parents in real life talk them through the scripts and explain things, but you don't want to be like, episodes about, I think in season 1 we had an episode about the tooth fairy, and you don't want to be like, so what do you think about this? Do you understand? Like, you don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah, like they didn't know the Tooth Fairy wasn't real, but the whole episode is about us trying to pretend to be the Tooth Fairy to fool them. So we're not, I think you have to keep certain parts of the script
Yeah.
hidden from
We
them.
don't go there.
Yeah.
What have you learned as far as the difference between one child, two children, three children, or no children, kind of looking into that family dynamic?
Well, now that in season 3 we have a third child, so certainly shooting has become a little bit more difficult. But I think now we're outnumbered, right? So I think that there's a real power shift where there's just not enough hands on deck, and you start to maybe rely on Logan or Michaela, both in real life and on the show, to sort of help out and become participate in controlling, which is obviously leads to different kinds of hilarious situations where they're not equipped. I think there's a great episode in season 3 um where we try to find Logan wants to babysit, and but but that's and so there's where Logan wants to be more grown up than he is, or Felix rather, in the show, and so that leads to different kinds of problems.
It's always that fine line in parenthood of babying them a little too much, or that taking that next step and not being ready for them to be that grown up stage.
Exactly. And we're definitely dealing with a lot of that now in the scripts.
Astrid's character goes, Megan, there was this whole thing, especially with as your children start getting older and you start missing that baby stage, you start getting that baby fever of holding a newborn. I'm Did a lot of people come up to you and especially as the seasons have aired, especially like feeling like, oh my goodness, that's exactly the way I felt every time I saw a baby out in public?
Yeah, yeah. I had a lot of friends when that was there. I think that was part of season one. That did come up to me and was like, I feel like your character on the show. The way that like she was looking at babies and getting that feeling. So I think it's like a very real thing.
Budgets and alone time and just trying to survive together. I mean, what have parents said to you as far as like, oh my goodness, these are the same struggles that we go through? And sometimes you have shows like a Sesame Street that guide kids through certain situations in their lives. Are parents coming up to you and like, thank you for this episode because this helps us become better parents?
I don't know about that, but people are talking about how they're seeing themselves represented, and I think that there's certainly a lot. Every episode has scenes that I've just never seen on a family sitcom before, whether it's talking about vasectomies or screen time. There's sort of modern elements that I haven't seen before, and there's also just something more specific about the way Kurt, that's our showrunner, he writes from his own life, and sort of it just feels like his guts and his family is out on every page, and it's a love letter to his family. And I think because it's so specific, it becomes almost a love letter to a lot of people's families where they connect, they feel very seen. And I think that's partly why it's such a, we get approached so often, and it's there's something joyous and very funny in watching yourself on TV.
Awesome. Well, I'm a big fan of the series, and I'm so excited for season 3 out now on Roku Channel. Megan, Aaron, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks for
Thank you.
having
This
me.
was great. Thank you.
Thank you.